So I have the best bike on the market for bicycle touring and bike packing right now. I know that is a pretty big statement to make, and I don't know, maybe a little bit audacious, but at least for my needs as someone who has spent 2 non-consecutive years living on my bike for the last 4 years of my life, this bike right behind me that I'm gonna explain to you guys in a little bit is so perfectly suited for bike packing and bicycle touring. I'm just totally convinced that it's the best one right now. This is not a sponsored video. I just wanted to make it because I feel like people should know what makes an awesome bike. And as someone who has cried in 15 different countries over biking conditions and mechanical issues, someone who has traveled mostly alone, someone who's pretty much all self-taught, I want to tell you what I've learned and why this bike is the best for my needs, which might be your needs too. So let's just get right into it. And also, I'm gonna have the gear and the part list in the bio of this video down below. So if you want to look up all the names of all these parts, that's the best way to do it. I'll try and keep the names in this video, the specific parts and all, but if you just want to see the whole list, it's going to be listed down below. So yeah, let's talk about this epic bike right here. Also, in case you're new to this channel, my name is Claire and I run Living by Bike. I lead bike packing trips now out of here in Baltimore, Maryland. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a bicycle tourist. I've gone around the United States, I've gone around Europe and New Zealand, part of Australia, and my mission in life is to go through as many parts of the world that I can on my bike. So I'm here to help you learn the things that you need to learn to get to wherever you want to go on your next adventure. I'm just a random girl who fell in love with biking during the pandemic, and I'm pretty extreme. So I learned a lot, and I'm here to teach you everything that I learned. So this is my beautiful bike that was designed by Velo Orange. Velo Orange is a Maryland-based company, and they actually reached out to me before I was gonna bike across the United States to give me a bike, and I turned them down. But when I was gonna bike around New Zealand, I reached back out to them, and we got this beautiful thing right here. So you can thank Velo Orange for this build. We collaborated on it together when I told them what I was looking for, and it's beautiful. So let's talk about the parts. First thing first, these are the crazy handlebars. I get asked what these are all the time on my Instagram. These are crazy handlebars, and I love them because I used to want drop bars all the time when I was doing a bicycle tour, but those actually aren't very practical, at least in my experience, because when you have a lot of weight on your bike with drop bars, it can be kind of difficult to steer. And also for a lot of bike packing and bicycle touring, you end up on rocky and gravelly terrain, and I usually don't feel safe going down to the drop part of the bars on that kind of terrain with all that weight on my bike. So I was never using the drop bars anyways when I used to have them. They proposed these crazy bars because they have a much more laid back and upright position, which is so much easier to navigate on rocky terrain. So these are super comfortable, so comfortable for long days on the road. And then right here, if you want to get a little bit more aero, you can reach out at front and just lean forward a little bit more. So crazy handlebars, I get asked that all the time. Now, all the accessories on this bike have been pretty much chosen by me. I just have a light on here right now. I just replaced this with a new one. I use a GPS, and this is the GPS mount that I use because it's bolted in right here. So it's super stable. This top tube bag, or this feed bag, is spectacular. This is from Outer Shell. They're based in San Francisco. Super amazing company, awesome people. You can use my code Living by Bike for, I believe, 15% off your purchase. Highly recommend this company. Such great quality, so durable, and it's beautiful. This is a stem caddy, also by Outer Shell. So when I'm bike packing, I usually put my phone and maybe some granola bars in here. For here, I keep pocket knife, wallet, hand sanitizer, whatever. But these are just the bags. Anyways, let's talk about the rest of this. So we got the braking mechanism here. What does it say? It says Shimano Dior. I'll include more of that in the bio. These are really easy to use. You can use them both ways. So for example, if I want to, I think this is making it easier. It's muscle memory when you're actually cycling. But for this one right here, for example, you can press it from the back or the front, which is great just for multiple ways of doing something. Same with this side right here. You can do it from the back or the front to shift that gear. This is a 2x system. I think it's 2x I don't know, 11 or something right here. But these have been great, and I did lose a screw. I lost that screw the other day. And considering that this thing has been through all hell when I was biking around New Zealand, Australia, and just around Baltimore City, that's the only thing that really happened was that screw fell out, and then I just got a new one. So the shifters are awesome. And then the brakes, I got some Velo Orange Grand Crew brakes right there. I love them. They're amazing. I mean, no real complaints for me from those. Now you may have noticed these are cable actuated brakes. So Electronic shifting and hydraulic brakes are like all the new rage with like cycling technology right now. And I mean, like, they're really cool stuff. Like, it's awesome to see the technology and like just how innovative people are, but for bicycle tourists, like, mechanical products are, in my opinion, the best, because you can actually fix them when you get stranded in the middle of nowhere with no service. Because let's be honest, if you're going to be a bicycle tourist or a bike packer, unless you're like in Europe where there's basically a city every like 40 kilometers that you go, it feels like, you're going to be in a lot of places that don't have a ton of services. So these are all cables, like no hydraulic, no electric shifting or braking or anything. Would so recommend you get just like general mechanical stuff, mechanical parts for your bike. So these are 650B wheels, so they are definitely a little bit smaller. What is that, like 26.5 inches what the conversion is. I specifically asked for Schwalbe branded tires because I love Schwalbe. I wish I was sponsored by them, but I'm not. But I'm in love with Schwalbe. Like, I try to get them all the time. And these are specifically the Thunderbird. So we went with this because when I was describing doing a bicycle tour around New Zealand, I was explaining that based on the routes that I was seeing, it was going to be about 50% road and then 50% mountain biking. So I wanted something that could do both. And this is what they recommended, the Thunderbirds, because I said I wanted Schwalbe tires, 650B. They've been great so far. They're like really thick. Let's take a look at this. Like, those are some beefy tires right there. No complaints. This is a tubeless system, and I love tubeless so much. I can't believe that I didn't use tubeless for such a long time. Would so recommend tubeless for like a lot of this off-roading kind of bicycle touring, especially for New Zealand. It was a complete asset, not getting like any flat problems at all. So yeah, those are my wheels for you. I'm trying to not talk too much about like the accessories, but I got some Ortlieb front rack panniers right here. They're great, love them, link will be in bio. And I added some fenders as well on my own, just because like they don't really add any weight to your bike and just keeps you a little bit cleaner when you're going inside of places. So they're great. And the next thing that people love are these Grow Tack brakes. First of all, they're beautiful. This is the purple color. I have a friend with the kind of foresty green, but these Grow Tack brakes are amazing. They are basically, I mean, they're just like cable actuated brakes that are basically as powerful as hydraulic brakes, is what like all of my friends tell me. They're pretty expensive, but they're so worth the money. My only qualm with the Grow Tack brakes is that when you have, I had a lot of weight on my bike when I was doing a tour around New Zealand. Like, I don't pack lightly. I just don't. When you're doing a lot of elevation and on rough terrain with a lot of weight on your bike, I had to tighten these brakes like every 2 days, which was kind of annoying. I mean, eventually I just got like into the rhythm of it. It's quite easy. Like, you just take your multi-tool and put it in there and just do like a tiny hair turn that way. And then same on the other side, you do a tiny hair turn over there. So it's quite simple, but I would say that's like my only downside of the Grow Tack brakes. Aside from that, like, no real other problems. Powerful, beautiful. I like them. Now these pedals, I would replace them with a nicer pair if I could, but essentially they are hybrids because when I go on a bicycle tour, I do like to take breaks and just hang out in the city for a week or so. So I want something flat so I can wear regular shoes. I would get the, what was it, the Shimano pedals that have like the little spiky grips in them, because these are super flat and you can slip off really easily. But hybrid pedals, I love them. I got some more Shimano Dior crank arms. We got a 2x system like I mentioned earlier. I never really had to fix anything here. Like, there was no problems at all with the shifting system. I got another outer shell bag there. I keep like all of my tools. Oh my goodness. I keep so many tools in here. I keep my bike lock also, but oh my goodness. I love outer shell. Like I mentioned, living by bike for 15% off your purchase. Don't mind this lights. Baltimore Bike Party is coming up, so these are just my bike party lights. This frame, this is the Polyvalent frame by Velo Orange. It is a steel frame, beautiful color, and it has so many attachment points. That's why it was recommended to me. So for example, there are attachment points here to bolt these on. You can even put a rack on right here. You got 3 bolts right here. I got a bottle cage underneath, got some on the back. You can do like, I mean, there's so many attachment points on the Polyvalent frame. I forget the name of the fork, that'll be in the description below, but beautiful frame. It is so strong. Like, genuinely, Velo Orange is an amazing company. Like, this is literally not even a sponsored video. I just love them so much. I will say that Velo Orange gave me a saddle and it was not very comfortable for me, so I just replaced this with a saddle that I do like a lot. I don't even remember like the name of that one. I think it's a Specialized brand, but I just didn't like the Velo Orange saddle. But again, saddles are very different for every single person, whatever fits with you best. Now here, this rear cassette, let's talk about that. So when I was describing the type of journey I was going to have on New Zealand and the cycling that I was planning on doing, one thing that Igor was talking about was how for a lot of cassettes, like you can't really get everything that you want. And he was saying that it's a good idea to have like more granny gears, essentially like huge cogs, like loads of teeth on them. For those of you who don't really know what that means, it just means like that's huge. Those are huge right there. Which just makes it easier for climbing big hills with like a ton of weight on your bike. You can't get everything that you want when you're building a bike that can do everything. And my tour was road and mountain and like gonna be in the cities in the middle of nowhere. So we opted for more of like a mountain biking type of style for the whole like drivetrain system. And especially having these bigger teeth. So with this bike, like it was like so rare that I ever actually walked up a hill or pushed my bike up a hill, and that was usually like on a kind of terrain that had tons of loose and big rocks. But for the most part, like every hill was totally conquerable on this bike because I could get such huge granny gears right there. I could pedal so easily on steep hills. Yeah, and the only downside of that is when I was on a more of like a flat surface, or if I had a tailwind or I was going downhill, I'd max out pretty fast on my highest gear, like my fastest gear. So at the end of the day, when you're bicycle touring, you don't really need to go super fast. That's not really the mindset of bicycle touring, at least in my opinion. So that was kind of an easy trait to give. I'd rather be able to go uphill and not hate my life more than, you know, let's say going 45 miles an hour on a downhill. Like I'm very okay with just going like 30 or something. So yeah, mountain biking type of drivetrain right here. Got another, that's the rear derailleur right there. Again, like no real problems for me. I can't really say anything about it that's bad. Got the little clutch mechanism, which is good. Let's talk about this rear rack. The rear rack is like fine for me. You can kind of place your bags right here. The whole point of it is that it's a little lower and further away for you, so you're not like your heel isn't like your heel isn't just like clipping it every single time. This rack was totally fine. I can't really say like that it was more memorable than other types of racks, but it was great. And you can also attach the bag up here if you wanted, or back here, so that was good. And again, we have that GrowTac disc braking system right there. Love it. Like I mentioned earlier, super high quality stuff. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna have the build list in the bio below this video, and I'm also gonna link the Velo Orange article that has the whole bike that they built for me in the bio of this video as well. Now, I want to preface that you don't need to like go out and buy an expensive bike if you don't have the money for it. You don't have to like go drop, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on like the perfect bike packing bike. You don't. Part of this video is to show you like these are all separate components that have been put together for one thing. So let's say you have a bike that you love, but you just don't want the drop bars for on a bicycle tour. You can buy these crazy bars from Velo Orange and put it on your bike, you know, if it's compatible and everything like that. You can do things like switch out your pedals. You can do things like switch out your rear rack. You can do things like get a different type of cassette. Again, like not everything is gonna be compatible, but if you have some friends who know what they're doing, you can work with them and upgrade your bike bit by bit to make it more bike packing specific and bike packing designed. So this bike is just to show you what is perfect for someone like me who wants to do a little bit of everything. I want to be on the road sometimes, but I also want to do some mountain biking, and I want to be very comfortable. I don't care about going super fast. I just want to be able to do long miles and feel very secure doing those long miles wherever I am. This bike is a dream. It is a dream. It's probably one of the most hardcore bikes. It probably is. Well, I mean, it is. It is the most hardcore bike I've ever had. People always call it like a machine whenever they see it, which is always, you know, like really flattering when people are like, damn, like that's like an epic bike. Anyways, I'm getting a little off topic here. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Would highly recommend Velo Orange for all the components and parts of this bike right here. If you want to make this exact same bike, that'd be epic. You know, send me a message if you can about that. If you want to learn more about bike packing, I have my bike packing gear guide below that tells you like everything that I buy and use on my bike packing trips, with a couple of alternate options for you if you don't want to get exactly what I have. And I also lead bike packing trips in the DMV area, and I'm hoping to do one in Montreal this summer. So if you want to learn bike packing skills with other like-minded people, the best way to do it is to actually go do bike packing. Do a small trip before you do the large trips. So if you want to sign up for any of mine, my ticket link is below. Montreal, the C&O Canal. I'm doing one out of Atlanta this spring also. So big things are coming to living by bike. And like I mentioned, this whole platform is to help you go on your own big, beautiful, and epic adventures. So if there's anything that you want to hear from me, talking about bikes, gear, like travel stories, like tips for saving money, whatever it is, I'm here to share it with you, because I just believe we should be outside. We should be outside, moving our bodies, touching grass, touching water, hearing the birds chirp, and staying healthy. So stay cool and stay cycling.